Oh, is that right? Yeah. It's a long time. Oh, that's very nice. Very nice. How's everything going there?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that. That's a lot. That's a lot. I had no idea.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Colleen Callahan, and as the director of the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, it is with great pride and honor that I welcome you to this state historic site. The historic site where Abraham Lincoln served, where he practiced, and of course where he delivered his famous and indelible House Divided remarks. Now here we are today, 92 score and 18 years later, united in dedicating yet another historical moment in the old state capitol. So welcome to the ceremony of the dedication of the marker commemorating Barack Obama's momentous announcement launching his presidential campaign. The impact of both President Lincoln and President Obama continue to be felt throughout the state of Illinois, and now Governor J.B. Pritzker continues to positively influence the future of the land of Lincoln and is here now to share his pride and his inspiration. Governor?
Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much, Director Callahan. Thank you for the kind introduction and also setting the stage for the morning. I'm thrilled to be here alongside Senate President Don Harmon and Speaker Chris Welch and so many other legislative leaders, as well as our friends at the Obama Foundation, to celebrate the dedication of this historic marker commemorating President Barack Obama's groundbreaking presidential campaign announcements right here at the old state capitol state historic site. On February 10th, 2007, a bright-eyed junior senator from our great state stood here at the old state capitol to begin his journey to the White House by laying out his vision for the United States, a vision where change was possible, progress was near, and hope would prevail above all. 15 years, 4 presidential elections, and 1 pandemic later, that vision remains as powerful as ever. Today, I'm reflecting on what President Obama's historic presidency meant to so many people, what it meant to the single mother of 3 who could now get health insurance, what it meant to undocumented students who at long last achieved some of the protection and support that they desperately needed, and what it meant to Black children and families who finally got to see someone who looked like them in the highest office in the land. The past few years, pandemic, financial, and health crises, and the rise of political extremism have taken a toll on us all. But our resiliency and perseverance have been driven by the most American of values, and that's hope. To me, this marker is a reminder that one of our favorite sons brought a message of hope that resonated at a crucial time to people all across the world. Here in the land of Lincoln and the home state of Barack Obama, our people will never stop believing that a better future is possible. Local graphic artist Michael Patrick encapsulated this message into this historic marker, and I couldn't be prouder that it was made locally right here in Springfield by the Ace Sign Company team. Michael, your work is outstanding, and I know that it will be admired for many and for generations to come. I'd like to give a huge thank you to Dave Jones, the leader of the Old State Capitol Foundation and board member of the Illinois State Historical Society, for his commitment to this project. Your leadership made today possible. And with that, it is my great pleasure to turn the podium over to our great State Senate President, Don Harmon. Don?
Thank you, Governor, and good morning, all.
Good morning.
Thank you for inviting me to speak on this beautiful morning, and thank you to the Old State Capitol Foundation and the Illinois State Historical Society for taking the lead on this project and working with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources to make sure it happened. And thank you for moving this event indoors. I am especially glad to be here because I'm one of the few folks serving the Senate who had the honor of serving with President Barack Obama. Senator Maddie Hunter is here. She was one of the others. President Obama and I sat beside each other on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and on occasion he would lean over and ask how we should vote on certain bills. So yes, I do count myself as an advisor to the President of the United States. This brisk day is reminiscent of the one we are gathered here to commemorate, although not nearly as cold. I remember standing outside of this building, shivering in hastily purchased long johns, waiting for my colleague to announce his presidential candidacy. The turnout was tremendous. People from all walks of life lined up in droves to hear him. It was frigid, but once the future president started to speak, we forgot about the temperature. President Obama's colleagues in the Senate always knew he was bound for bigger things, although even we could not have predicted the meteoric rise from senator to president in 4 years. He carried to the highest office in the land the same curiosity, demeanor, and willingness to ask tough questions that he held while serving here in Springfield. He made us proud as he expanded health care for millions, brought our economy out of the Great Recession, joined with global leaders to fight climate change, showed unprecedented support for the LGBTQ community, and updated our country's immigration policies to make the American dream more accessible to everyone. President Obama chose this location to launch his campaign because of its ties to Abraham Lincoln, the president who preserved the Union and challenged America to live up to its promise of equality for all. And now it will stand as a reminder of the man who embodied that promise and inspired a new generation to step up and serve. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce in the old House chamber the Speaker of the Illinois House, Chris Welch.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. You know, it is an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you. It is a little chilly outside, but thank God there was no snowstorm. Earlier this year, the governor gave a great speech in this chamber, and many of us couldn't be here because of the awful snowstorm that occurred that day, that week. So it's an honor to be here with all of you, to be here with the governor, the Senate president, my current colleagues in the House, our future colleagues in the House, and of course, all of you. This truly is a glorious, momentous day. But I think if President Obama was here in Springfield today, he'd be really disappointed in us a little bit, because he'd be like, why are we wimping out inside? It was colder the day he made his announcement. You know, we're from Chicago. We can be outside. But whoever made the decision to be inside, I join Senator Harmon in thanking you. You know, I will tell you, as a young person in elected office, I always admired then State Senator Obama from afar, and watched when he ran for the U.S. Senate, and then watched when he ran for President of the United States. And 16 years ago, when he was here in our state capitol, just outside this building, he launched what many of us believe was generational change. He inspired all of us to believe in hope again. He inspired all of us to believe that change was coming, change that we can believe in. You know, he inspired so many people who had never been involved in politics before to get involved again. He stepped up at a time when this country was deeply divided, reminiscent of what's going on in our country today. And so I think it's just fitting that today we honor our President of the United States who came from this chamber, President Barack Obama. You know, when people come to the state capitol and visit this place, they will forever be reminded of the generational change that President Obama started. They will forever be inspired to hope. They will forever be inspired to believe in change that we can all believe in. And I am thankful for the time he spent here, the visit he gave us when he was still President of the United States in 2016. I'll never forget that because I was sitting in the front row of the House chamber. It's finally the time when the front row seat became popular in the House chamber. And to me, he's still that role model that I seek to be inspired by. And it gives me great privilege. It's an honor to introduce a really good friend of his, our next speaker, Mr. Michael Strautmanis. Mike.
Thank you for that introduction, Mr. Speaker. I'm Mike Strautmanis. I'm at the Obama Foundation, and it was cold, and it is so important to us that day at the Obama Foundation and hear those who are involved in the history of this great state for historical accuracy. So in my coat pocket, I did bring some hand warmers. So I'm well prepared. It is an honor to be here to represent the Obama Foundation. Springfield is such an important place and holds such a special place in the heart of President Obama. You know, it was Springfield where he came together and started to pass legislation to make a difference in the lives of people across the state of Illinois, expanding health care access to children, our state's first racial profiling law, ethics reform, and more. But it was also a place where he learned a lot of lessons that stayed with him all throughout his presidency and that we're bringing into our work at the Obama Foundation. That lesson that no matter where you come from, no matter what you look like, you can find common ground with others and that you can come together and create solutions that will improve people's lives. That is a critical lesson, and it is something that the old state capitol stands for. That's why he chose to come here to announce his presidency. That's why he chose to come back here to announce his running mate. You know, this place stands not just for democracy, but it stands for the fact that democracy can work. Our democracy can work, and people can come together and make progress. And that is something that the old state capitol stands for, not just for the state of Illinois, but the country and the world. And it is so fitting to have this marker so that it is one more place on the trail. We're gonna, as we build the Obama Presidential Center and open it in just a few years in the south side of Chicago, we're gonna bring people in from all around the world, and they're gonna come down here to be able to see this part of the story. And people who are here, who come here, we hope make their way up to Chicago, to the south side to experience the Obama Presidential Center, a place that will be dedicated to the idea, to telling the story that anybody, no matter where you're from, no matter what you look like, has a role to play in creating the change that they want to see in the world. And so we're so thrilled to be a part of this and so grateful to everyone who helped put this together. And with that, I have the honor of introducing State Senator Doris Turner.
Good morning. Good morning. And I add my voice to those who are happy that we're inside and not outside. Yeah, it's a little bit different. And yes, President Herman, I did have on long johns and hand warmers and foot warmers, and I was still very cold. I'm I'm really proud to stand here with Senate President Don Harmon, Speaker Welch, Governor Pritzker, and other partners and friends to memorialize this important site in our state's rich history. This site provides us with a window into two great men who contributed much of their upbringing and professional development to institutions in Illinois. They are known to have led our nation with great integrity and were able to put aside partisan differences when necessary to work for the common good. And of course, I'm speaking of former Presidents Abraham Lincoln and Barack Obama. It is no surprise that President Obama used the old state capitol steps to announce his own presidential campaign in 2007. And you know, this is a very emotional moment for me because I remember standing outside with my children and thinking all things are possible. And now we see how that moment has evolved over the course of these years, that we have to continue to keep that same energy, that same hope, and that same belief that all things are possible. And I say that with a lot of emotion and strong conviction because, you know, I stand here today as the first black senator to represent this area in either the House or the Senate. And at a time when many didn't think that was possible. So we're not talking about past history. We're talking about living history that continues to live and continues to evolve. And I just want all, small children, teenagers, seniors to know that never give up on what you think is possible. Keep moving, keep working, keep getting there, because we will get there. And we are a better country, we're a better state, and we're a better nation when we do that. So I know I lost all the parts of my speech. So, yeah, I'm just going to go to the close. I hope that as Springfieldians walk by on their way to DePiero's or the feed store, which was one of President Obama's favorite places, or any of the other wonderful small businesses in downtown Springfield, or school groups and tourists who drop in town for an informational tour, or people who just stop to admire the beautiful architecture of this monumental building, that they think of the kind man, and that's important, the kind man who continues to devote his life to bringing positive change to our great nation. So as I close, I would like to thank Springfield-based Ace Sign Company for designing and making this historic marker, Director Colleen Callahan for allocating resources towards renovating the old state capitol, because this stuff doesn't just happen. And the staff at DNR and local organizations who work very hard to provide the residents of Springfield with opportunities like the Springfield Old Capitol Art Fair, Illinois Route 66 Mother Road Festival, and the Old Capitol Holiday Walks that bring people from all walks of life together and help strengthen the bonds between us all. And so with that, I would invite Director Callahan back.
Thank you, Senator, and thank you all. After listening to each one of the presenters this morning, you can feel in the room, throughout the room, the pride that we all have in why we are here today. So I want to let you know that I am a member of that prideful group, knowing that it is our department, the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, that oversees our state's 56 historic sites. And to know that we have an administration who supports the history and the presentation and the storytelling of all of those sites, and certainly most importantly, our old state capitol. Without the support in this room, this would not be undergoing the largest capital investment project of any state historic site, with a $15 million improvement. And that's important because we're going to continue to come back here time and time and time again to make certain that we honor and remember. And with that, I would like to add that it is not only with pride, it is an honor, and I do want to give credit and apology to Abraham Lincoln, because the world will little dote nor long remember what we said here, but it will never forget what we did here today in commemorating the marker and noting the history that came after and will continue to follow. With that, I would like to invite you at some point after the refreshments and to thank the Old State Capitol Foundation for making those available, that once you bundle up again and head outside, make sure that you do see the marker in person at the southeast corner of the lawn, because that's the reason that we're all here today. So thanks to all of you, thanks to the staff who at the last moment made the adjustments so that we could all be inside, and thank you for being part of this momentous occasion that will live in our memories and in our state's history forever. Thank you very much.